Welcome to the Wander Creative Podcast, your guide to digital marketing. Journey with us as we navigate organic social strategies, discover the latest in paid advertising, and explore current trends in content creation. Your weekly roadmap to figuring out the ever-changing digital world starts now.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Wander Creative Podcast. My name is Dan Russo. I am the Director of Digital Marketing here at Wander Creative. Super happy to be back for season 2. I am joined here by Carmen as well as Chloe. Carmen she works at Wander Creative as well as an artist, does all the things kind of in the influencer world. And then Chloe, who's our social media coordinator. And so happy to have you guys both on.
So excited.
Yeah, excited to chat.
So today's topic is really just going to be, is there such a thing as too much self-promotion? How much is too much, if so? Let's kind of give the ending at the beginning. Like Carmen, I know that you've kind of handled your own social media accounts as an artist, as a, individual personality. And tell us, is there such a thing as like too much self-promotion?
We're just diving right in.
Yeah, let's go.
I would say no, but I think there's so much to be said here. Because I think nowadays people are just craving authenticity. So like from my perspective, I've been an artist the last 10 plus years, signed to a record label as well as indie. So I've seen all the things. And all the changes that have come along with social media. And especially running my own social media, I feel like one thing that will always be consistent is that people just want to know who you are. People want to feel like they know you. That's why influencers are a thing. It's because people feel like they know someone, and so they're buying whatever they're buying. So I think that promotion, that's going to be a new term. Promotion and like promoting yourself. I definitely don't think there's too much, because like consistency is also a huge part of this. So like, I think people want to feel like they know you on socials, but then it's also like they need to know what you're selling too. So you have to be consistent about being like, oh, hey, also I'm releasing this record. Hey, also, I'm releasing this record. Hey, also, I'm releasing this record, because people are going to see it and scroll past it. And unless you're consistent, they're just going to forget about it.
Yeah, that's a great point. I think I've even seen that kind of in the music space, where it's not about how many times have you posted about yourself as much, for me personally at least, as like, a fan of artists. I'll just say my favorite musician is coming out with a new single. For me, it's less about oh gosh, they keep talking about themselves. And it's more like if they post too early about it and I'm hearing about a new single for a month nonstop, that's where I start to lose interest, because I'm like,
I know.
I remember, I just release the song, please. I think.
And that's changed a lot too, because it used to be that you did announce your stuff. Like early. I remember, especially back when I was in like a band, and we would release or announce our releases like a month before it came out, and then you'd have this whole drawn out thing, whereas now people are announcing like a day before, or or the week of, being like, hey, this Friday it's dropping. And that's just even so different in the last few months to the last year.
Meanwhile, Taylor Swift is like, new album, I just launched it. They're like, wait, what?
Tomorrow.
there's no
exactly, no rules.
She doesn't need to spend $1 on ads. But no, that's really interesting. And Chloe, like kind of within your role in the social media world too, if we're going down the kind of example of the musician, but this could apply to small business with a product launch or a tour launch or whatever it is. What are some other things that they could kind of throw into the mix alongside just like selfie videos of, hey, this thing exists, how do you keep it fresh?
Yeah. I think that there is a lot of ways to approach that. I mean, like you said, people want authenticity and they want something that they're going to relate to. Like, you need to be producing content in the in-between of like self-promotion of like, what are you valuing? Like, why am I following you? Like, there has to be a reason that you have like a following or people that are listening to your music, if we're going to go down like the musician route, but they're following you for a reason, because they either relate to you, or you have something in common, or they just really enjoy the music that you're producing, but they're following you for a reason. And so if you're sharing that valuable content of like your everyday life or like what you're valuing, like if you value your family, if you're posting that like in between, and someone that also values that is following you, they're like, oh, well, they're also coming out the new single on Friday. Like, I would love to listen to that. Like, if you're building that relationship, I think in the in between, that's what people are drawn towards, and that's what people are going to listen to your music for.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, building that trust too.
Yeah.
Where I think people are like, oh, I know, like, I've followed her for a long time, and I like what she's, you know, we have this much in common. So, oh yeah, she's dropping this song or she's talking about this product, I'm going to do it just because she's doing it.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
Or he.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's man influencers, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Honestly, there are.
No, yeah, totally.
Matt follows.
Yeah, do you watch The Bachelor? Come on.
I know.
Yeah, we're all
seriously,
influencers.
That's true.
That's really why people tuned into this podcast, was just to hear us talk about
Influencers.
The Bachelor season.
Exactly.
No, but I mean, have you guys found that to be true? Like, on like taking kind of the marketing hats off as fans, like, you know, is that what you guys prefer? I mean, I know it's a little anecdotal, but
Right.
I think it's real.
That, I mean, when I'm getting on social media, I'm not getting on there to buy something. I'm not getting on there to seek out like, oh, this new musician is dropping this song. Like, I'm getting on there to get something for myself. I think a lot of people get what you give out of social media or the other way around. But I'm not going on there to seek out something. Like, you have to grab the attention of your followers. And I think that that can be done with the most simplest post. Like, it doesn't have to be like this long drawn out. Like, if you're jumping on your stories and just saying, hey guys, like, this is why I'm really passionate about what I'm doing.
Yeah.
That's going to catch someone's eye.
Yeah.
That's so true. I don't go on social media to like buy something. It's kind of like I just bought something.
Yeah.
True.
Well, I want to feel better about it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you go on, I think, to like feel connected in a way.
Yes.
Like, you want to follow people who either inspire you or like just you're like, I like what they're doing. That's cool, and I'm interested. Or it's like some sort of drama that you're
Yes.
Yeah.
you're wanting to follow along with. And so it's like they'll do something and you're like, wait, what are those jeans they're wearing? Or wait, what show are they playing this Friday? Or, you know, you just like want to know more of what they're doing, so you'll do whatever they
Yeah.
to do. I don't know, the influencers I follow are that way. Like, I just genuinely I try to follow people who either make me laugh or I just like their style. Like, it kind of aligns with my style. And so if they post something and it's someone I've followed for a long time, I'm more inclined to buy it because they've bought it.
It's kind of more like an interactive Pinterest board where you're like, I like their
True.
style, so I'm going to like follow them so that if I'm kind of wanting something,
Exactly.
they'll probably have their
It's
link
the whole
in there.
inspiration. I feel like, especially Instagram, is like, you get on there because I'm searching for something that I would like, and it's like going to inspire me.
Yeah.
That's true.
I think something too is I'm just thinking through like the influencers that I like really love, and going back to the consistency thing and like how much promotion is too much promotion. Like, they find a way to subtly throw things in. So it's not like this obvious, like, hey guys, buy this. It's like they find this natural way of talking about it. And a lot of times, like, I'm just thinking of this one girl I follow, and she'll post about this brand and she'll post about it like today, and then she'll post about it again like next week, and then she'll post about it again the next week. And so after a few times of seeing it, then you're like, well, maybe I want to try that, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that's true, that you have to be consistent no matter what you're promoting, whether it's music or a product. It's like the more times you're talking about it, and it's like natural, like, hey, this is me using this thing, or this is me listening to this song, or this is me reading this book. Like, after so many times, it'll connect with your followers.
Yeah.
I completely agree with that. I also think it's so important to be true to your brand's voice.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, depending on what it is, like, I follow an artist who she's literally like a fine artist, and she's really, really aesthetic with her art and kind of the way she photographs the stuff that she sells. But she's like a great storyteller, and she'll talk about like when she first had the idea to create this piece, and it was 4 years ago when she saw, you know, it's like, wow, this is like very story driven, but gosh, it's aesthetic too.
Yeah.
But I also know like musicians who are really funny people, and they'll just post like a really funny video of them interacting with each other, and at the end they'll be like, by the way, new song this Friday.
Yeah.
And it's just like creative ways to self-promote instead of like, hey guys, back at you with
Yes, and it's just
me
like
saying
a graphic
again.
of,
Yeah.
I mean, that's like, it's the interaction of like you're looking at that and it's catching your attention, and it's like the consistency of it coming every single week, and I'm like almost expecting it to like them to talk about it, because then I'm like intrigued, like what is this about? Like they must really like have a passion behind this, or they must really like have a story, like you said. I think that it can be subtly, like self-promotion doesn't have to be like you're bragging about yourself or you're like overly doing it. And sometimes I think it can be a little overwhelming when someone's just like constantly marketing themselves like on like a graphic or something. Like it can be a subtle like, hey, like you should do this or you should buy this, and like kind of put it into the organic kind of social media.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like all sorts of marketing where you don't want to just slap with that call to action on the front, but like find a creative way to like bring them in, kind of like you were saying too, Carmen, with the whole like finding clever ways to like slide something in, you know what I mean, in that content,
which I always overthink that. And I think there's maybe people listening who probably overthink this too. I feel like it has to be this like whole thing, like, okay, I need to be talking about my music. Okay, how do I do that? And it's like, it needs to just be like me in the kitchen, like, I don't know, just simple everyday stuff that you're kind of like, oh yeah, and I also have a song out, or I don't know. And I think people really gravitate towards the authenticity of when the product aligns with like their life. It's not this like forced thing. But it's easy to overthink, but it's way more simple than what some people make it to be.
I love that. You know, kind of this question can go to both of you guys, because I know that both of you handle socials on this level. But like for anyone who's listening, you know, I know this has been true with me, where you're trying to promote something and then you just hit a wall. So I'm going a little off script here, but for both of you guys, like what is your go-to way when you kind of hit that creative wall of like, I need to promote XYZ, but I can't just ask for another selfie video from a client, or I can't like just create another of what I did yesterday. What are some steps you guys take to kind of push past that creative block?
I don't know if this is right, but
nice.
Right answer.
Yes.
Right answer.
You're a marketing specialist, so it's right.
I'm a specialist in this.
Y'all listen up.
You listen to this. I mean, I would say one of two things. I either would go to, this is not even me just saying this. I would go to someone like Wander Creative, and I would be like, hey, I'm having trouble coming up with content. I'm posting only like once a week. Seriously, I mean, because there's people who do this all the time who would like know how to help me, you know, boost engagement and stuff. But then two, I would look at what other people are doing. Like I would go to the people who I enjoy following. And I've done this before when I've like ran out of ideas. I'll go to an artist I like, or I'll go to an influencer that I follow, be like, okay, what did they post yesterday? Or what did they post this last week? And I'll just not like copy it, but like kind of copy it. Yeah. Be like, oh, okay, I could do that.
And you like, you can revamp it to be your voice and your brand. For sure. I think that's like gaining inspiration from someone is not like bad. Like that's what Instagram and social media are for. Like that's why they're posting it, is because they're trying to influence someone, you know?
Sure.
Right. For sure. Yeah, and I think TikTok does this well, because there's trending ones, so it kind of makes it easy for you to like go and be like, okay, what is trending? Okay, let me just do that. You know,
that's so true.
You can just kind of do
that.
One, I think capture what we don't get to see. So I mean, using both the painter artist and the musician artist as two examples, give us what I don't get to see on the day to day. So if I like your music and I like you as an artist, show me backstage. Show me you goofing off in the green room. Show me like a BTS that I don't get. Even if it's just your new single playing in the background. And then at the end you can say new song out now. For the artist, show me you painting in a field. Show me the process of what I just bought or what I'm considering buying. I think that those are all things to consider instead of this, just selfie video pushed world. I think there's so many creative ways to bring us into what you do. Even if you're just a brand selling clothes, like show us how they're made, tell us the backstory behind like how you source your materials, if that's something you talk about. I just think that there's endless opportunities. And to your point, Carmen, like, that is what an agency like ours does help with is, hey, we actually have lists of types of content. We have, stuff like that if you come to us saying, hey, I don't really know. I'm over this organic thing.
Yeah.
Organic social media stinks. We say, no, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
No, it does not.
That's my job.
Yeah, it
stink.
better not. Yeah. Yeah. Anything else? We love to see it. I mean, I just think it's like, I think it's really tough because if you lack the creativity on how to promote, let's say you're an artist, it can sound so conceited so fast because you look at a page and it's just repetitions of that person's face. And you're like, first off, I don't even know which one to click because all the thumbnails look the same.
Just your selfie.
Yeah, but it's tough. And I think that's a real struggle, though, in that it doesn't mean you are conceited. It means you need help with the types of content to launch. And
Yeah.
I
think any advice I would give anyone trying to promote anything, like whether you're a musician or you have a company or a clothing brand, whatever it is, to find what makes you unique, because it is so saturated, right? Like there's a bajillion people on social media. And so to like stand out, to like get your voice heard, you really do have to figure out what that thing is, like what's going to make people gravitate towards you and gravitate towards your page. And then when you figure that out, just repeat it over and over and over and over, and just like stick with that and be consistent, because then you'll find other like-minded people who will come to your page for that. So I mean, I know that, Matt has talked so much to me about that, where he's like, you think that people are bored of what you're saying, but they're not. They have forgotten. They have scrolled past your things.
Totally.
Like, post about it again. That's good. And like, not in an annoying way. Like we said, like, like show your authentic self, show like what you're doing in real life, but then whatever you're trying to sell, like be like unashamed about it. Like just keep posting and posting until like it gets through.
Well, I love what you guys both said too about finding the inspiration. And I think that could not be more true, that it's not copying. Like you said, Chloe, like you can find a way to say it in your own voice, but that's not copying. It's standing on the shoulders of giants. It's saying, okay, if we're using musicians like the Jonas Brothers, like they kill it on socials. They post really fun content and stuff. And if you're in a similar world, check out their stuff and see what they're posting and do similar things. People aren't going to be like, wait a minute, I've seen the Jonas Brothers backstage. What are you doing? Like you're also backstage. But I do think it's a very great way to say, hey, this is successful for them. And we want to mimic it. So I think that's awesome. Thank you guys so much. This has been really fun.
I love it.
Talking about self-promotion.
Self-promotion?
No, that's not it.
That's my beige flag is abbreviating words.
Abbreviating every word.
Everything. Thank you guys so much, Chloe and Carmen, on this podcast. If you guys are listening, feel free to check out our other episodes. We are releasing these weekly. So we'll talk to you guys later.
Thanks for joining us for the Wanda Creative Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and consider leaving us a review on your favorite podcast platform. And if you missed any of the highlights, don't worry. You can get all of the show notes at wandacreative.com/podcasts. And while you're there, sign up for the digital drop to get new episode alerts and also receive the latest digital marketing news, tips, and tools delivered straight to your inbox. Until next time.